Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. I've been doing a lot of reviews and lots of videos on Moissanite and Dove Eggs lab diamonds and even mine diamonds. So I thought it would be a good idea to maybe step back and talk a little bit about Moissanite and lab diamonds and how they compare. They are two very distinctly different stones, and neither is a substitute for a diamond. In fact, lab diamonds are just like mine diamonds. So I really wanted to go and talk about brilliance, color, cut, fire, durability, all those important things when you're making a decision between purchasing a moissanite stone or purchasing a lab diamond. Now, again, all of these products are from Dove Eggs. I really love Dove Eggs. They have great customer service, great quality items, and they are so great to do custom work with. They really can create anything for you. So sit back, relax, and we're going to learn a little about these stones today. So I think it's only fitting that we start with moissanite, since that is really what Dove Eggs is known for. They're high quality moissanite. And moissanite comes in so many different shapes, sizes, colors, cuts. Moissanite has some great blues and greens. If you're into very colorless white moissanite, or even some people who are looking for having a little slight color. Definitely, moissanite is one of those things where if you are very color sensitive, you may be more drawn to moissanite because they tend to be more uniform in color. But the new colors they've been coming out with have been just amazing, and the sparkle that you get from the different types of blues and greens is just amazing. So moissanite is a beautiful stone, but I think there's a lot of misconceptions and myths about it. Durability wise, moissanite is something that's going to stand the test of time. It's a 9.25 on the Mois scale. Uh, Lab diamonds are a 10, diamonds are a 10. This is something that you can wear every day. This is something that you can have as an engagement ring or a wedding band. This is something that's going to stand the test of time and become an heirloom piece potentially. This is not cubic zirconia, and I think a lot of people think, oh well, cubic zirconia isn't durable. It clouds. It kind of gets scratched up. That's not going to be the case. I have pieces I have worn for many years. They are not scratched up. They are not dull. They are not cloudy. That has never been the case. The other thing with durability with that is Dove Eggs in general has very, very good craftsmanship, and they stand behind their work. So if there is something that does go wrong, they're willing to help you fix it. Brilliance wise, pretty much you can get what you want in a moissanite. So I'm a very traditional person when it comes to brilliance. I like H&A cuts, hearts and arrows cuts, because it's more of a traditional brilliant cut. But Dove Eggs has astro cuts and nova cuts, which mimic more of a cut of a lab diamond actually. And then there's all different types of cuts. Crushed ice is a really popular one. I've talked about that in my other videos about lab diamonds. It's hit or miss for me with moissanite and crushed ice. Some people love it. The thing you have to remember too with brilliance is moissanite has a higher reflective index or refractive index than diamonds or lab diamonds do. So that's going to give off a lot more rainbow type. They say fire. A lot of people will say, oh, you can always tell a moissanite because it gives off these rainbows. I don't think that's true. I think the only people who will probably ever notice that are people like you and me who are sitting here watching videos about moissanite and lab diamonds. Um, and color wise, the same thing. Color is going to be a rainbow of options. It's also going to be moody. So moissanite used to years ago be green tinted, and I think in its natural state it is kind of green tinted. But nowadays it's near colorless, blue, green, yellow, pink, every single color. I do notice that the blues and the greens, which I happen to love, and the grays are very moody. You're going to get a lot of different looks of that stone in different types of light. And I think that's awesome. Price wise, it is exceptionally affordable, and it has become even more affordable. It is really a stone that I've seen over the years go down in price, not in value, but in price, I believe, because of the affordability and just more technology and being able to produce more. I've had many of my pieces for many years and paid a lot of money back in a couple years ago, I'd say like 5 years ago. And now I just find it so much more affordable. And I will tell you, Dove eggs is the best. They are very affordable. They run tons of sales, and they're really good to the returning customers. And the last thing is sourcing. So this is a lab created item, which is why it has very few inclusions, if any inclusions. It's pretty standard, and the color is usually very uniform. And that's especially something that Dove Eggs takes into account, because they do test drive, so to speak, their colors and cuts with their current customers, to make sure that it meets their quality standards. I love Moissanite, and that is Dove Eggs bread and butter, but I also really, really love lab grown diamonds. And they have really, really become popular on the market and among a lot of people recently. And I think that's just because, again, a lot more technology. And I think people are just moving away from mined diamonds, for environmental, for ethical reasons, but also for price. And I won't go into that whole, issue with De Beers and the monopoly that they hold on diamonds. But I think lab diamonds are really where the future is. So the best thing about lab diamonds is it really does, it's a diamond. I can't say it any other differently. It's a diamond. So you can still get that fire and brilliance that you would get from a diamond with these crisp cuts and brilliant cuts, but for a better price. And let's be honest, saying I love you with a $4,000, $5,000 diamond that was mined by children somewhere that we don't know is not exactly the best way to say I love you. But this is a best of both worlds. You can get something that's ethically sourced, and be able to afford your bills and still look great. You will hear me say time and time again, over and over again, like a broken record, that lab grown diamonds are real diamonds. There is no difference between a lab grown diamond and a mined diamond. Now, yes, obviously one is created in a lab and the other is mined, but their properties are almost completely identical. Their durability, just like a mined diamond, is a 10 on the Moy scale. So extremely durable, isn't scratched very easily, and it basically isn't scratched by anything except another lab grown diamond or diamond. So this is going to stand the test of time. It's going to be an heirloom piece. It's something you can wear on the daily. Now, obviously, I would still stick to the same protocol I would with any of my jewelry, whether it be moissanite or lab diamonds. I wouldn't wear it to clean, and I don't wear my jewelry in the shower or to work out, things like that. In terms of brilliance, I will be honest. I am a convert to lab grown diamonds over moissanite only because of their brilliance. Now, there's less fire and more depth. So I'm kind of like this really depth kind of person. I love diamonds and moissanite with depth. So I always drive Jody or Cora crazy because I ask them to pull different radiant stones in moissanite and get the most depth out of it. So it is a lot easier for me to pick stones, for lab grown diamonds, because they do have a lot more depth to them. They have more traditional cuts. I have said in previous videos, they tend to go more toward the crushed ice look, which I think is great. It's beautiful in a lab grown diamond. I don't like it in moissanite, but I really do like it in lab grown diamonds. So it still gives off the sparkle. It's still very clear. It's still brilliant. And it has that look of a diamond. And again, we talk about how people say you can tell the difference between a lab grown diamond and a diamond or a moissanite. I don't think that's true. Probably the only person who can tell the difference is your local jeweler if they're looking at it, because oftentimes lab grown diamonds are inscribed and certified. And a lot of the diamonds, almost all the diamonds now, lab grown diamonds, that Dove Egg sells are either certified or you can get them certified. Color wise, it's a huge variety, just like it's a huge variety with mine diamonds. You can get the EFG, HI, JK. You can get the fancy colors like yellow, pink, green, blue. I have mentioned previously before, I have a pink diamond that I own now, and I am waiting for a blue diamond to come in the mail. Very excited. Hopefully, we'll give a review on that. Cost wise, extremely affordable. Not as affordable as moissanite is. I think price will come down in the near future, but I do find Dove Eggs to be one of the most competitive in pricing. Also, they're just very good about sales and repeat customers and things like that. So I think over time that's becoming a more affordable option. And I just don't see why you should pay more. Paying more doesn't make it better. And the same thing when it comes to sourcing. It is lab created, it is ethically sourced. You know where it's coming from. You can often track like labs and things like that where they were created. So I think lab grown diamonds are great for a person who really wants that diamond and really wants that look, but without the price tag. So I've talked a lot about the different types of stone and the durability and the brilliance and the color, but most important is how does it look? And the reality is moissanite is not a lab diamond. It is a completely different stone and it does look different. I find that moissanite tends to face up whiter in especially direct sunlight and tends to have a lot more fire dispersion. I call it the disco ball effect. It has a really nice rainbow to it. I think that's beautiful. I also like especially in radiant cuts, the brilliant cuts, the hearts and arrows cut. And as you can see, I thought it would be easier to compare because I have very similar pieces of jewelry because I really love radiant cuts. But on the right, you can see that this is a very different type of cut. So same cut, radiant cut on both, but this one has a more crushed ice effect. Now you can get a crushed ice effect on moissanite. I tend to find that the crushed ice is a little more, not, I don't want to say cloudy, but whiter. And some people like that. Where I do find that the depth and sparkle from radiant cuts, even with a crushed ice look, is gorgeous. It's beautiful. So I've never really been a crushed ice girl, but I definitely am for lab diamonds. So let's really dig in and compare here. I happen to have, as you can see, lots of radiant stones. The stone on the bottom is a lab grown diamond in a radiant cut. The stone on the top is a moissanite. It is a near colorless moissanite with a brilliant H&A cut. From afar, nobody would know the difference. I think up close, the biggest giveaway, and I think I'm really sensitive to this, is the depth of the cuts. I do find that diamond cuts, like lab diamond cuts, are very different than the way moissanite is cut. And I think that's because of the stone itself. You can get crisper cuts on a lab diamond than you can on a moissanite. And I think that's just the properties of the stone. Color wise, it depends on what your colors are. I'm going to show you in another slide the different colors of lab diamonds, just like the different colors of moissanite. I do find that with moissanite, it's gonna be easier and cheaper to find a whiter stone because of the properties of moissanite. But you can get that in a lab diamond as well. Like I said earlier, I find that in direct sunlight, you're going to see the biggest difference in moissanite to lab diamonds. And there's nothing wrong with this, but as you can see, this is like direct, there's shade kind of sunlight. What the left side is the same stone that you were looking at before. These are both the same necklaces, the radiant cuts, but it does tend to face up a lot whiter with direct sunlight, whereas moissanite still has that sparkle. But I will tell you, this faces up very, very light too. That stone is a little bit darker, and if you watch my review on that, you'll see how moody that stone can be. So how do these diamond and moissanite stones stack up against each other? The title is Moissanite versus Lab Diamonds. The reality is, it's not a competition. I think everybody has a very different reason for why they want moissanite and a very different reason for why they want a lab diamond. I think for a very long time, lab diamonds were just not affordable and not readily available. Now they are. So I think for a long time, a lot of us were leaning toward moissanite. I can tell you, I have a mine diamond as an engagement ring, and I still prefer moissanite and lab diamonds over that. And obviously, you can get a bigger stone, you can get different cuts. I just think it's a more economical option. And I feel as a society, too, a lot of people are turning toward more economical types of gifts, types of engagement rings, people just being a little more realistic with each other given the nature of like COVID and the economy and things like that. So when I say how do they compare, how do they stack up? They don't compare because they're different stones. And we always say moissanite is not like a fake diamond. Moissanite is not cubic zirconium. Nobody's trying to pass off moissanite. Now, of course, there are people who wear moissanite and will not tell people that it's moissanite. That's fine. I like to be upfront and honest because I think it's actually fun for people to be like, oh, I love your diamond. Oh, it's really a moissanite, because they realize how good they compare. But again, lab diamonds are different. They give off a different look. They give off a more glass diamond like look because they are real diamonds. Lab diamonds are real diamonds. So I think it's really just preference I also think it's where you are in your life when you're purchasing these things. I mean, obviously, if you're looking for something to stand the test of time, either one of them is going to be perfect. But also, if you're looking to be more economical, I will tell you Moissanite is still hands down going to be cheaper at this point. Now, as technology gets better and as more companies start, offering these things, I know that lab diamonds will become even more affordable. But like I said, Dove eggs, very competitive pricing. You can't beat it with moissanite too. So it's really just going to be, up to you to kind of do the research and see what you like. I always tell people, don't go by what you're supposed to do. Go by what you like. Go by what makes you happy. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much anything costs on your neck, on your ears, on your fingers. If it makes you happy, and that's all that matters. And I will tell you that Dove eggs will make you happy. So I do encourage you to go to their website, check out their loose stones, check out some of their new arrivals. But I also encourage you to like and follow my page and my channel for more reviews like this. Thanks, guys.